What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voyage RC. This video is going to be a little overview of all the aftermarket parts I've got on the B5M I just got built. I'm also going to kind of cover the electronics I'm using. Car is done. The only thing I have left is the body and paint, so slacker on that end of it, but yeah, we'll get it done. Anyways, little overview. The car is set up for 17.5 stock racing, which ends up being a little more expensive than mod racing, but I like all the bling of the aftermarket parts anyway. So anyways, I'm just going to kind of split up the video into sections based on the company of parts I'm using. So like JConcepts, Hot Racing, just to name a few, EXO Tech. So stay tuned for that. I might try to have a time laid out for each manufacturer just so you guys can skip ahead if you want. And I'll try to leave links down below for all the parts I'm using. There's quite a lot of them. So anyways, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get going. For the electronics, I chose to mostly go with Reedy products. I did mention I'm running 17.5 stock, so it's got a Reedy Mach 2 17.5 brushless sensored motor. For the servo, I went with the Reedy RS1206, brand new on the market. Really impressed with the quality so far. It's got good speed. Adequate torque. This is the high speed model. They also have a high torque model. I just have a aluminum Protec servo horn mounted to it. It is a 25 tooth spline like the Futaba's. For the ESC, I went with the 410R Blackbox. I got the bundle with the programmer box, so I do have the capability of hooking the programmer box into the sensor wire and just updating everything on the fly, which makes it a lot easier and allows you to do more stuff with it. You can see here I've got the RX472 Airtronics receiver in there that is bound with my MT4S transmitter. And then for the battery, I went with the ModX. It is a 4500 mAh 100C Shorty pack. It's basically the same specs as the Orion shorties that are out right now, so it's actually about the same price too, I think. Does run 4mm bullets. I know a lot of times on batteries sometimes they don't say what size bullet connectors or anything they're running. This one is the 4mm, not the bigger 5mm, so just something to keep in mind. But those are the electronics. Next up, we'll start getting into all the aftermarket upgrades on it. So I decided with running 17.5 stock, I wanted to run the 3-gear. So from Team Associated, I went with the 3-gear transmission setup, which includes the, you gotta buy the 3-gear transmission case, the 3-gear gear cover, which I have off right now, and then also the 3-gear top shaft. And that is an aluminum shaft, so it's nice and lightweight. As of now anyway, I know the only 3-gear top shaft available is from Team Associated. When they switched over to the 3-gear, they changed the bearing size so it was universal with the idler gears. They're a little bigger bearings in the 4-gear transmission, so it requires a different top shaft. So Team Associated aluminum 3-gear top shaft with the gearbox and the gear cover. When you do the 3-gear conversion, you don't need to buy any extra bearings or anything, because you'll just take the bearings out of the spare idler gear that you pulled out of the 4-gear. So that solves all that. Also, one other thing I went with from Team Associated was their aluminum rear C-mount. It's a nice aluminum piece, and you also need to buy the inserts for it, which allow you to adjust your toe and anti-squat. But very solid piece, very lightweight. And those are the parts I went with from Team Associated. A little company you might have heard of called JConcepts has a bunch of nice, good quality parts for the B5, B5M. I'm actually only using a couple on this one, but all their parts they have lined up for it are really top notch. What I went with was the Ultra rear hexes. It's a really lightweight design. They, instead of being a solid hex, they have all the cutouts in them, really lighten them up. And then I also have those on the front. Black in the front, I went with blue in the rear. Change it up a little bit. But I'm also running their titanium front axles, which is really neat because on the inside it's got a knurled tip right here. So when you're installing the wheel, it gives you something to grab on with your finger to kind of stop it from spinning. That way you can make sure everything gets lined up and everything. Really, I mean, good quality, good fitment, everything installed the way it should be. I haven't had any issues with the screws on the hexes or anything. They're nice and sturdy, and you can get the proper amount of torque down on them to hold the hexes on the axles. So those are the couple of little parts I went with from JConcepts. EXO Tech is putting out some good quality parts for the B5 and B5M. We'll kind of start with what I got on the front of the buggy. I've got their carbon front tower. This is for the gull wing arms. They have one specifically for the flat arms and specifically for the gull wing arms. I went with the blue Ballstud mounts. I believe you can get them in a blue and at least black. I'm not sure about the other colors. Perfect fitment, everything lined up perfectly. Very good quality. I went ahead and sealed it with some CA glue just to protect the carbon, especially if I'm going to be rolling the vehicle at all. I don't want it to start peeling on the corners here. Also in the front, I went with their angled aluminum hinge pin brace. Really cool feature here on this is they're angled right here in the front. Don't know how well you can see that. That way if you're, you know, nosing it in off of jumps and stuff, it's not catching the clay or the dirt as much as the standard piece. So again, that one lined up really well. Got the nice Exotek logo laser etched on the top there. Moving on towards the back, I went with their aluminum wing mounts as well as the wing buttons. You do have to supply your own screws for these. The screws I'm using are just some titanium Protec pieces. But yeah, these wing mounts are really solid, really good quality, very lightweight being out of aluminum, and I like the option that I can just screw the wing on there instead of using body clips. So that'll be really nice. And also from them, since I went to the 3-gear transmission, I needed a motor plate. I went with their Flite 3-gear motor plate. They also have this in the 4-gear option. You can see it's vented really well, nice and lightweight. So very good piece. Again with the laser etching on that side, and up here it says 3G. The other one will say 4G on it for the 3-gear and 4-gear transmission. So some very good, lightweight, high quality pieces from Exotek. I went with a few pieces from Hot Racing to help strengthen the vehicle up a little bit. Start in the back this time. I went with their aluminum rear knuckles. Very good quality aluminum piece. And as you can see, the tower here is made out of carbon fiber, and that came pre-mounted on the hub, and it utilizes the stock inserts for your adjustability and everything. Fitment was really good, went right in there with no problems. Machining on these are really nice. Hot Racing did a really good job. Nice chamfered edge on the outside here. Only thing I noticed on the rear hubs is, if you can see here, you're looking at the left side of the vehicle and it's got the R for right, and the other side of it's got the L for left. So I don't know if that's just the batch I got or if they're actually engraving all of them like that. But yeah, the right's on the left and the left's on the right. But that's the way it's got to be mounted for proper alignment of the turnbuckles and everything. So other than that, yeah, those pieces were really well. Moving on to the front, I went with their caster blocks and steering arms. You can see they're both made out of aluminum. Very good quality, very good fit. Again, they utilize the stock inserts for all your adjustments, which makes it really nice. Your parts that you had out of the kit, you're able to still use in these. And again, the arm here is carbon fiber, and that was pre-mounted. And it did come with a set of ball bearings and a brass sleeve. I think it's brass anyway. But it really loosens up the steering, makes it nice and smooth. No binding issues or anything. So these ones were actually labeled right. L for left, L for left, R for right, R for right. So left's going on the left side this time and right's going on the right side. But yeah, overall really impressed with those. The only thing that was a little pain in the rear were these inserts here for your caster. They were a little tight. This side went in pretty easy, but on the right side here it was a little tight trying to get it in. But once you get it in, I mean, it was fine, and I was able to back it out too, so it's not like it's stuck in there or anything. But yeah, it was just a little tight getting those in, but other than that, everything went together smooth. The quality is really high on these. They do a great job on their machining. So again, lightweight aluminum with the carbon fiber towers and arms, and yeah, some nice quality pieces from Hot Racing. Schelle Racing Innovations has a lot of nice products out for the B5, B5M. They're kind of one of those companies where you don't really hear a lot of negative feedback, because all their products are really good and everyone who uses them really likes them. So I went with a couple of their products as the tires stick. Anyways, so I went with their blue aluminum D arm mount. Really nice aluminum piece. Cool part about this one is this carbon fiber backer. Just the two screws, pull that off and you can slide the hinge pins out the back without disassembling the whole rear tower. So makes working on it really easy. If you need to make any adjustments or anything, you can just pull those off really quick without having to take the whole rear tower and everything off. And then I also went with their aluminum rear Ballstud mount. Again, another really nice aluminum piece. The cool part about this one is they added a third hole, so you get 3 holes for adjustment, which allows you to, fine-tune your setup a little more. So really nice, high quality chamfered edge. Looks really good. So those are what I went with Schelle Racing Innovations. So I don't know about everyone else, but when I think of titanium, I tend to think of Lunsford. I went with their Punisher series titanium turnbuckle kit. That's some of the best quality titanium that you can get for your car. So I usually tend to put the Punisher series turnbuckles on all my cars. I've never had any problems with them. I've never bent one. I've never broken one. Which really really top-notch titanium they're working with. They're really light, you're really strong, and you can't really go wrong with them. So if you're thinking about upgrading your turnbuckles to a nice titanium set, think Lunsford. Went with a couple items from AVID RC, using their shock standoffs. These black guys there. You can see the white bushing in there. Comes 2 to a kit, so you got to buy 2 sets. One for the front, one for the rear. Just a really solid piece. Really help keep your shocks on there good. And they look really cool. So, just a nice shock standoff set. And I also went with their Triad lightweight wheel nuts. I got mine in orange. Really lightweight wheel nut, and it's also the back side is serrated, so it really grabs onto the wheel and you don't really have to worry about them backing off during a race. The last thing you want is your wheels to fall off during a race and you to be DNF because of that. So really nice, lightweight, good looking piece. Some cool products from AVID RC. I wanted to get a nice battery strap that would allow me to adjust the positioning of the battery without having to use the foam block inserts. And turned to a company called Factory RC. Went with their carbon fiber battery brace. Fitment's really good on it. You can see it's got the adjustment block that I've got on the front side of the battery because I've got the battery pushed all the way back. But you also got a set of rails if you want to move the battery forward, and it comes with another block that you can put behind it to sandwich it and move it, you know, any position you want on the chassis. Fit really well, no problems there. And a little thing I'd like to say is they took the time to prep the carbon fiber for you. It came with all the CA glue on the edges to help protect it. So it's the little things like that that make a company and their product really stand out, I think. They took the time to do that themselves. You can see the bracing block in there. They do give you the option, you can get the titanium screws or just the regular steel screws. I went with the titanium option. It's just a really nice, sleek looking battery brace, and it'll hold your battery in position without having to use all those foam blocks and everything. So just a really nice piece from Factory RC. Went to Revolution Design Racing Products, or RDRP. I went to them for their VTS slipper kit. Really nice design, really lightweight. You can see they've got all the holes drilled in there to lighten it up and vent it. Really good quality on the machining. Really impressed with it. All the aluminum pads in there are vented like that, drilled out to keep it lightweight. So that should take down some of the rotating mass, help the motor spin up faster, better, easier, keep the temps down. It's the VTS slipper kit from Revolution Design Racing Products. I wanted to get a nice aluminum steering setup, and I turned to ST Racing Concepts. I went with their aluminum HD steering bell crank. You can see it's the full kit. It's got all the arms and everything in it. Very nice quality on the machining. I've had their steering setups in the past and they always fit perfect. I mean, the install's just like installing an OEM piece. Really good quality, and it is aluminum, so it'll take any of the slop out of the plastic pieces that you have in there in the kit. That's the aluminum HD steering bell crank from ST Racing Concepts. That's one I went with, is the gunmetal, but they've got a few other color options for you. I did put one product from RPM on the vehicle, and that is this ginormous mini front bumper. It's actually the mini bumper for the B4, but it mounts right up to the B5M. It's got the same mounting design and everything on the bulkhead, so it just mounts up perfectly, and it gives you that little extra protection on the front. You can see it juts out a little farther, and it's a lot wider than the stock piece, so it does just add that extra protection, and it is a little thicker, so you get a little more wear out of it before you got to replace it. So just a nice piece from RPM to help, you know, protect the front end of the vehicle. Again, that is the mini front bumper for the B4 platform, but it does mount up directly to the B5. There is one 3D printed part on the vehicle. I went to Shapeways, found their B5M Fan Brace. It's this white piece here. I've got a much more racing high RPM fan mounted on there. Help keep the motor nice and cool. Bolted right in. I didn't have any problems mounting it up. And they do print them to order, so as soon as you order it, they print it and mail it out within, you know, 7 to 10 business days or whatever. But a very nice piece. I went with the white one because I might dye it a different color in the future. Thinking maybe an orange to accent the wing buttons and the wheel nuts. So stay tuned for that. I might do a how-to video on that. But that's the B5M Fan Brace from Shapeways. 3D printed. Pretty cool piece. I've had the fan on, and if you hold your hand in the back here, you feel a lot of airflow, so it's doing its job. Well guys, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more. I know the video was a little long, but I got a lot of aftermarket parts on the vehicle that I wanted to show you guys. Maybe you guys hadn't seen or heard of them before, so I figured I'd show them to you guys. Links are down below, so stay tuned for more.